I am Miss Christine. I teach on a platform called Outschool. The type of classes that I teach are engineering classes and writing classes, and I also teach crochet classes. And I'm also going to be starting a crochet club for both young people and adults. The crochet club for young people is already happening on Outschool, and the crochet club for adults will be coming out very soon, so keep an eye out for that. Today I'd like to record a video about what is on all those numbers on a ball of yarn. What do they all mean? So I'm going to show you this label here. This is a ball of yarn that I bought at my local dollar store. And you can see there's a whole lot of symbols. There's a lot of numbers. I just want to decode what all of this is for you. So first of all, we have the number of yards. So that has how long or how many yards of yarn we do have here. So it has both imperial and metric. So it's 131 yards and 120 meters. And this is how much it weighs. So it's 2.11 ounces or 60 grams. Now down here we have what the yarn is made of. This particular yarn is 100% acrylic, which is of course a man-made material. Acrylic typically is very soft when you first get it. As you continue to wash it, it sometimes gets a little rougher depending on how it's made. That's not always the case, but oftentimes you'll find acrylic as you wash it can get a little bit stiffer. Now cotton, on the other hand, usually after you wash it, it becomes softer. That's, like I said, not always the case. Sometimes yarn that starts out kind of rough, that you can use for things like making handbags out of, or other things that will be more structural, you'll want like a really rough yarn for. And then things that you're going to wear, you want something that's softer. Cotton is also used for things like dishcloths and other things that need to air out properly, that get wet and need to dry properly. Acrylic tends to hold moisture in. But let's go down to this next line. So this is what's called medium worsted weight yarn number 4. So number 4 is the size of yarn, and that's how wide it is, or how thick the actual strand is. And then if you move over to the next box, you'll see this symbol is the knitting needle symbol, and then you'll see that it's calling for a 5 millimeter or a US number 8, I believe. Yes, US number 8. And most knitting needles and crochet hooks do have the millimeter mark and not the US 8. That's not used too much anymore, but these two numbers inside the box are what size needles should be used for this size yarn. Now if you look up here, it says 10 by 10 centimeters, or and over here it's 4 by 4 inches. So this is for what's called gauge. So if you were using the 5 millimeter knitting needles and you made a swatch that was 4 inches by 4 inches or 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters, you should get 18 stitches across and 24 rows. So again, that's what this number down here says, 18S, which means how many stitches you're getting across. And then this 24 is how many rows that you would have gotten with size 5 knitting needles. Now, if you're not getting 18 stitches across and 24 rows with the 5 millimeter knitting needles, you can go ahead and use a bigger or smaller so you get what you get what's called gauge. So you get gauge. And so feel free, if you, and everybody, every knitter and every crocheter has a different tension they keep on their yarn. So if 5mm needles are not working for you, then by all means use a smaller or bigger set of needles to get these 18 stitches across and 24 rows up. Now on this next box, again, we have the 10 by 10 centimeters and the 4 inches by 4 inches. And it has got a 5.5mm crochet hook here, or a US 9 or size I. So this is, of course, the crochet hook symbol. So you're using a 5.5mm crochet hook or a US size I hook. Get what we're notating here is 12 stitches across and 15 rows of single crochet. So this is SC, that stands for single crochet, and R stands for rows. So if you're using a 5.5mm crochet hook, you should get 12 stitches across and 15 rows up. If you make a swatch that's 4 inches by 4 inches or 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And down here, of course, is got directions. So machine wash, warm, tumble dry, normal heat. So if you're making a garment out of this or anything out of this and you want to wash it, you want to make sure that you only machine wash in warm and not hot, and tumble dry with normal heat with this particular yarn. I can tell you that certain acrylic yarns are very finicky, and if you put them in the dryer and on even medium heat, that they will the fibers actually kind of melt together, and your crochet or your knitting will kind of fix itself into position. And I would be lax to say that if you don't block your work after, and I did not do this for years, if you don't block your work after it's finished, you could actually have it misshapen as it goes through the wash and dry cycle, even if you follow all of the directions. And blocking, if you don't know, is just you typically wet the garment and then put it on a big flat surface, and then you'll put pins on it to stretch it out in the shape that you are wanting it to be in. And that kind of locks the fibers in place without melting them like it would happen in the dryer. And that way the shape of your garment it'll keep that shape wash after wash. It's not always the case, because especially if you accidentally put the acrylic yarn that should not go in the dryer, you will get melted little balls of fluff, which are disheartening when you've put so much work into a piece. You don't want it to be ruined by the dryer, so make sure that you read those labels very carefully. Again, my name is Miss Christine. I look forward to seeing you in Crochet Club. Come hang out with us and have a great time just going over any stitches that you're having trouble with, or sharing a new project, or sharing a new ball of yarn that you're not sure what to do with, and getting inspiration as well. Thanks again, and I hope to see you in class.